Jude, what is happening, my friend? It's good to get you back on.
Good, Amelia Maha. Good for having me, comrade.
No, listen, we've done two parts with yourself, Jude. And do you know what? I have to, before we start this podcast, I have to say this, that every time I'm on somebody's live, or if I'm speaking to somebody that's seen our podcast, they always ask, when's Jude coming back on? And I was on a live there the other day, and people were saying, when's Jude? Where's Jude? How's Jude? And I said to myself, I haven't actually spoke to Jude in a while. So I sent you a text message and we arranged this podcast. And, we could do about 20 parts to your life, Jude. And I have to urge people, go into the comment section and description. There's two links. Well, actually, there'll be one link for a playlist for just Jude's content that he's done with me. Go listen to that guy's story about his life. Part one, Dublin. Part two is about Dublin too, but it's a different sort of a setting to that. But this part here, part three, is going to be about more the traveling over to England, the Manchester side of things. But I urge people, head over now. And Jude, you've got a brand new channel, mate. Can I plug that channel for you? Can I put the link for that in the description?
Of course you can, Ronan.
Yeah, what's your channel about? What's the message that it's trying to promote?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. Right. Straight out of Balliol, like obviously straight out Compton. But I'm straight out of a place where you don't have to be a soldier to hold a gun. And a lot of kids look up to the wrong types of role models. It's like, but yeah, the place I come straight out, a lot of people say straight out of Baller. It's not Baller, it's Balliol, Ballyer. Now, Balliol is a short reference for Ballyfermot, and that's in Dublin 10 on the south side of the city. That's where I grew up, and then I come to the UK. Yeah.
So when watching a bit of your content, you do a bit of everything. There's a comedic aspect to it, but then you talk about some serious issues. And in the past two previous podcasts, we sort of tackled those issues with drugs. You're talking about the joyride and the drugs in Dublin and all of that. So whenever you then went from Ireland to England, how did that happen? What was the process of that happening? Why did you move from Ireland to England in the first place?
Okay, it all started at about 15 to 18, from getting a job in the asylum for 17 months to knowing every crazy person in every suburb in Dublin, like you have Clondalkin, Ballyfermot, Tallaght, Crumlin. And Dublin is a city where you get a nickname, and your nickname stays with you forever. Now, I've had several. I won't mention them, but like I said, I let's just say I went and got some bread, and my friends were hungry, and I give them some bread, and they ate it all, and then I had to cop for the bill, what have you, and I ended up getting a beating, the best beating I've ever had in my life. But I still never said like I could trust in friends, and they betrayed me, and that's what happened there. So. Yeah, and the fact that it was bringing trouble to my mum's house, and you know what I mean, Ron, and you understand, you mind something for someone, and something happens, it's on you, and that's basically what happened. I wasn't ran out of the country like a certain YouTuber said. I left, and you know what? It's the best decision I ever had made. In all fairness, I know that now, but when you're deep into the drugs, the selling of it, the taking of it, it's like you're just in it, and there's no middle ground, Ronan. You're either in or you're not, and it's all bullshit, because I only ever wanted to be one of the boys, and like me and a couple of others allegedly formed something at the very start, which now. And it breaks my heart, and I'm not proud of this. It's escalated into what the media call a cartel, Ronan. And education's the way forward, not selling drugs. And I hated every English person in the world before I moved to the UK. And you know what? It was an English woman who helped me when I was on my knees, Ronan, not an Irish woman. not an English woman, a Jamaican woman living in Manchester with her kids. And the reason why I punched her son in the face because he wouldn't get on me wall. And they were pissing in my garden round. And at the time, my children's mom was pregnant on a baby. I won't go into it, but she ended up losing the baby, and I ended up losing my head. And I went out, and now she did not at this particular time. A situation, 5 men on me wall. I asked them to get on me wall. Me missus was fucking up pregnant, and she just felt a bit scared and a bit threatened. So I asked them the nice way, and he didn't want to do that. So this fella, my man, he starts sucking his lips at me, so I headbutted him, right? Next of all, they all dived on me, right? So now what I didn't know was the prick lived next door to me. I was only in the house a couple of weeks, and Roland, we had absolutely nothing. Nothing. I tell you what we had, Roland. We had a kettle and a bed. My grandfather lived across the road. When I first come to this city, I moved into my grandfather's, and 6 months later, my chick moved over to the UK. And but yeah, so that lady, like I said, our son, they were giving me loads of shit, and I let it go and all. They even broke me window, and I had enough. So I went out, and this fella started sucking his lips on me. So I nutted him, and he dived on me. So I went into my house, and I had a big fuck off piece of wood, and I picked it up. So I goes outside, and I'm screaming. I'm not going to tell you what I was screaming, but it was a racist slur. That's all I'll say. And this lady come out, and she says, "You okay, love? What happened?" I said, 5 black lads were on me wall, and it's like, one of them I know he smashed me window. My missus was pregnant. Little did I know, it was his mum was talking to Ronan, yeah? So she said, "What did he look like?" And I said, "Black," because Ronan was dark, and that was the foot. Now, like I said, I was racist back then. I was an 18-year-old, nearly 19. Anyway, I'm stood in the garden talking to his mum with a piece of plywood in my hand. My mum walks around the corner with all his mates laughing. I goes to run out of the garden to hit him with the plank of wood, and his mum says, she's like, "Wagwan, yo, Irie, relax. Who you calling fucking Irie? My name's not fucking Irie." He's trying to get at me. Next of all, his brother pulls up in the car, right? Now, I'll say who the family is, the Bells from Longside. Bro, I moved away from Ireland to get away from fucking alleged head case, alleged gangsters, alleged cartel members. And I moved right next door to the fucking one of the most dangerous families in Longside. And at the time, there was like Dodden and Gooch. And bro, there was fucking killings. And Dodden and Gooch are a reference to gangs in an area called Mountjoy in Manchester. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the 3 roughest areas, I've lived here 28 years. The 3 toughest areas in Manchester, 4. Salford, Gorton, Beswick. And I see it's either between Wythenshawe or somewhere else, but like I said, this is without a doubt the toughest housing estate in this city. There's 7 gypsy families that live on this housing estate, but just let me finish what I was saying. So this geezer, his mum stood in the garden with me, and his mum's like, "You'll be okay, love, don't be worrying about it. I have a few lads that'll fucking look out for them." And it was one of our fucking lads that fucking did it. I'm trying to hit him with a bat, and his brother pulled up. He's like, "Yo, G, what's good?" I said, "I'll tell you what's good. See my man there? I'm going to split his fucking head." He said, "Bro, that's my little brother, man." And I was like, "Bro, your little brother has been pissing in my garden for the last fucking 6 weeks. Blading his music every night, smashing bottles in my garden, pissing in my garden, bro. Do you understand? My chicks
disrespect, disrespect.
Told him what was good. I said, "Here, get on me what." I went out and I was nice to them. I said, "Lads, can you do me a favour, yeah? Me gal's upstairs pregnant, right? And You're making far too much noise. You're pissing in my garden. Blah, 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 blah. And one of them started blabbing. And even though there was five of them, I cracked him as hard as I could. He dropped. Next door, bang, bang, bang. So I had a split eye, lip, nose. She's like, don't worry about it. And there was loads of adrenaline going through me. At the time, his brother pulled up. His brother said, here, have you just been sitting on my man's garden, pissing in his garden? And he's asked you nicely to get off his wall. Cracked his brother. Come here, you. All his mates and all, he's chasing them down the fucking road. But she come into the house, I'm not going to lie, Ron, and I felt a bit scared because I was on my own and my chick was there. I wasn't asked about me fucking self. You come near my family, I don't care if there's 20, so I'll split your fucking head with an axe. I don't give a fuck.
So it's safe to say you came out of the frying pan and into the fire.
No shit.
That's good. That's a good story, Jude. And right, so I want to get back to that story, but one thing I want to know is it so you left Dublin basically due to the situation that you were in involving certain narcotics, say, and you've left there. You've went into what area of Manchester?
Longside.
Longside. So you're in Longside, and your initial reaction to Longside is this situation. Is this crazy sort of is it gang life? Is it or is it just kids? What type of how would you describe the area in regards to how it's controlled?
Right. Well, I'll describe it one way. I was the only white person on the fucking avenue. Put it that way. And I'd never seen as many people of different colour and nationality and creed, religion in my entire life. And it was a culture shock for me. But what I didn't realise was, at the time, there was a gang war going on in Manchester between two gangs from Moss Side, the Dodderton and Gooch. Now, Dodderton is in reference to the name of a street, and Gooch is the name of Gooch Close in reference to that. The two of them were shooting each other. Now, my brother went to school with Lee Amos, and he was the head of one of them, allegedly. There was two brothers, but there was a few people shot dead in Manchester, and I'm like, I fucking come here to get away from it, and you've moved me next door to a family where the brother was after being shot a few weeks previously, and he was left in a wheelchair. They wanted fucking payback, and what I didn't realise was, me and my missus were living next door to them. Yeah.
You could be caught up in the crossfire if there's any retaliation.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you're spot on. But like I said, a friend of my grandfather's had a flat not too far from this particular house, and she said, "Listen, if you ever want to use the flat, you can stay there. All you need to do is take care of me 6 cats and give me £20 a fucking week or every 2 weeks." And Ronan, I had everything in it. It was nearer to me granddad's, just across the road. It's like, so it was a no-brainer for me. But yeah, like I said, bro, see, I come to England at 18, right? But when my missus was about to give birth, she come back to Dublin to give birth in the Rotunda Hospital, and I come back, and the only thing I knew what to do was to fight or to sell drugs. You know what I mean? And I had a son, and it wasn't the right way, bro. But at the time, you don't think like that. I was a father, and yeah, drugs fucked everything up, Ronan.
How hard was it for you to come from a bad situation in Dublin into another situation in Manchester and not get involved, or did you get involved?
No, not at all.
How hard was that to stay away from a situation like that? No, like you've just said there, you knew how to fight and sell drugs. So there's the two things that you're good at. Now you're in a situation in Manchester, which is just another remnants of Dublin at the time. So what was the tactics that you used to stay away from that?
my son being born. Uh, in fact, like I said, when Dylan was born, we went back to Dublin and I went back to all the habits. And let me make one thing clear. I never started selling heroin until I was 20 fucking one. And I didn't even sell it for a year round. And they raided the house once.
This
When
was
like
this was in Dublin, was it?
yeah, because like I said, when my son was born, I come back to Dublin because the ex wanted to have my son in Dublin. So we were going to go back straight to Manchester, but I wasn't thinking. I was like, who's going to employ me? I'm a criminal. Every application form I've ever had to fill out, I've had to lie on it. So I said, fuck this. I went back. All habits tend to come back. So I was, I was still taking it, up until 20, up until 21. Right, so the house gets raided once by Star Street. Head guard station, I'd say, in Dublin, like flying squad. There was a legendary detective there called Mickey Finn, drug detective. Anyway, they raided my house around him. I had AR-15s pointed at me, Glocks. You know what I mean? Una Banbury at the time. She's probably chief inspector now. And Larry Duggan, he was the lead detective. Bro, I had some of Dublin's finest. Cut a long story short, yeah. I was in prison for that. I was in Mountjoy, bro, and because I used to work in the asylum round, a little, let's say, a light was put on me, and I was a target because it was an inner city prison, and I already had made enemies with a couple of notorious families because of the asylum. And bro, when I got to Mountjoy, one of them was a screw. He was writing me up on report 3 times a fucking day, bro. This screw did not like me, and he pulled me visit and dragged me son out of my arms, and I fucking dropped the cunt, and I got battered. But I went back to my cell, and I prayed. I said, God, it's you here. Listen to me, yeah? If you get me out of this situation, I promise you, I'll never sell fucking Class A drugs again, and I'll get me son to fucking uni, or I'll fucking do me best too. And now, it's like he's a headley Duke walk around helping hundreds of families in Liverpool. It's a free service, do you understand? It's like, and he's so fucking passionate about autism because my nephew has autism. That's why he went to uni. He wanted to get a psychology degree from me because I have a couple, let's say. Like I
It
said, I
definitely
didn't go.
seems like your son seems like has went into a field of helping people, because
Yeah,
maybe subconsciously he's thought, well, look, there was this past, this crazy past that my father's had in Dublin, Manchester. I want to get into the prison. I want to speak about that next, but just to speak on your son, the people need to realize that your son's actually doing a lot of good work out there. He's top in his field. He runs a charity in Liverpool, I believe, and he's helping so many people. So that's a credit to yourself, Jude. That is a credit to yourself too, mate.
well, like I said, even though I'm a Man United fan, I've realised something, and I have this ideology, and me and my son spoke about Liverpool and the way the funding is. That city doesn't get zero help off the government, and it's not fucking fair. They have the best kids' hospital in the world, Alder Hay Hospital. Shout out to the Make a Wish Foundation. See Liverpool, right? I'll tell you why I love Liverpool so much, and I'm a United fan, just as for the '97 World. We're on the matter. See Scousers, yeah? In 1919, they helped my family and my countrymen by selling them rifles and going against their own king. And the government never forgot that. And then years later, when the riots happened in Toxteth, to this day, them kids have been affected because of the sins of their fathers, their granddads, their uncles, their brothers, their sisters. A lot of people went to football that day and they never fucking come home. And I see any United fan, I hate that shit. Don't mention that shit to me. Because 96 people lost their life that day going to a fucking football match.
When it
So
comes to
it's
Manchester United and Liverpool, look, Liverpool's got a deep, rich history in Ireland, and so does Manchester, right? Both the Manchester clubs, all the Manchester clubs from all divisions, and all clubs in Liverpool from all divisions. So what people need to realise is there's a close connection between Liverpool and Ireland. A very, very
def
close, very, very close connection. And whenever Liverpool's the only place that I go to, and I never feel homesick. The people feel the same to me. The women act the same. Even in the worst areas, some people say, "Why are you walking around that area of Sefton, say in Liverpool?" So, well, actually, I feel at home. Everybody treats me the same, and I don't feel like I'm in danger one bit. So there is this deep, rich connection. But if I go to a place like, say, Southampton, London, it doesn't feel the same. Even Manchester has a bit of a homely feel to it, and Newcastle too. Newcastle, the north of England, is a bit like Ireland in that
Roland,
sense.
the best city in this country is Liverpool. The people, the hospitality, the generosity, and you know something, see Scousers, bro, they've been the brunt end of fucking jokes for years. You know, and at the end of the day, Liverpool people are hard working, proud fucking Liverpudlians. Blood, sweat, and fucking tears. 75% of them have Irish heritage. And when Hitler was dropping bombs on Liverpool, the Scousers were going up on the roof writing, "Fuck you, Adolf. You may break our windows. You can break our factories. You can even break our homes, but you'll never break our heart or our fucking spirit. So fuck you."
It's crazy. It is. They definitely have that. They definitely have that side. And what people need to realize is, right. See, for a cold hard statistic, Liverpool, not L1. L1 gets a lot of funding, but the outskirts of Liverpool is the most underfunded part. The most funded in the whole of England. It doesn't get any funding, and I generally believe it's from what you'd said. They went against the establishment. They went against their own government. And all that money gets siphoned into London. It's the same in Newcastle. It's the same as Manchester. So people need to realize that these Liverpoolians have this spirit, but it comes from this spirit comes from very, very heavily deprived areas.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know,
And
you know.
of statistics, numbers, like I said, Ronan, my lad, he's been up there a decade, and like with his bachelor's, and it's like, bro, if he was in the Irish Republican Army, he'd be a fucking general now. But here, see all that? He didn't need to. He's proud of his heritage. It's like, and he went, like I said, Ronan, I sent him off a boy to Liverpool, and he returned to my mum 4 years later, and he's dedicated his life to helping kids that have learning difficulties, autism, Down syndrome, like fucking, every label you can think of, from spina bifida, scoliosis, cancer, leukemia, all kinds of labels. But this organisation and the backing that we have, it's like, all right, I'll put it another way, real quick, Ronan. Right, okay, Liverpool is relied on private investors because the fucking government, for some reason, they don't like the fucking Scousers. Well, I love them, and I know why the bastards are doing that. And here, it took a fucking stranger, bro, not even from this city or this country, and he grew up on this housing estate, yeah, off the man are just like me, except for education is his right hand and his left hand. Here, my hands are fucked, yeah. You don't need to do that. You're going to university, whether you like it or not. I made a deal with God at 21 in the prison cell after my son getting dragged down my arms, and I said, do you know what? This is it. At the end of the day, my son should never have come in to see myself from prison. So I sentenced myself personally to 25 years of learning. And I can speak a couple of languages, Roland. You know what I mean? It's like, and that might sound daft, like, you know what I mean? Now, not fluent, but I could say I can talk a bit of Spanish, a bit of Italian, because when I was a chef, I used to fucking So I learned a bit and listened.
So basically, you instead of putting yourself in turmoil, you try to educate yourself and elevate yourself and evolve yourself to sort of become a better person for your family.
Well, Ronan, I'm 49 now, and what I've realised is education. You need and awareness. You need to be. What I've realised about life, you have to be self-aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And from the time when we first done that first podcast, Ronan, you're talking to a different person now. You know, it's like I've not taken my milk stabilizer for 38 days. I'm still on all the antipsychotics and all, but I'm trying to bet on myself, Ronan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because, like I said, you only get one life, and for many years, I've lost a lot of friends and family in Dublin gangland, and each time it took a bit of me soul, and I was in a hole, bro, and then my chick come along. I'm 19 months now, bro, nearly, and it's like I'm happy for the first time in my life.
That's good. It's good to hear that. Jude. There's a question I have for you, though, that
Bro,
stood out to me. You went to Mountjoy, right? What was the process like in prison, or what was the, if you can remember, was it hard for you? Was it easy for you? What was your sentence, and can you explain the process of Mountjoy and what's it like inside, and why you? I think you explained before why you went in, but what's it like being in there?
all right. I went to Mountjoy prison when I was 21 uh, for a heroin and a gun charge, and I was I was still taking heroin at the time. I was 21. I was selling it, and I got very reckless, and I didn't know I was under surveillance. So they raided the house once. Then I got bail, and then they raided the fucking house again, bro. So I'm not going nowhere. So I was on that charge. I was in there for 5 months, bro. And the first thing when I got on the landing on the ones was the smell of piss and the noise. Now, Mountjoy prison, I was in at the time. I was in a place called the Annex, the old Annex, Ronan. There's bars on the fucking window, no glass. It's prehistoric. You know, it's like a fucking mattress fucking sick on it and fucking, I was like, fuck's sake, man. But what I didn't realise was one of the screws, bro, recognised me from Ballyfermot, from the asylum, and I'd gone against him. Let's just say, I won't say who it is, but, bro, for every fucking day, yeah, from going down to get your breakfast in the morning to take it back to yourself, Ronan, you need eyes in the back of your fucking head and the sides of your heads too. 3 fucking 60. Because, like I said, all it takes is for someone to say, here, see him over there. He's one of them cunts from Balliol that was in the asylum. And next of all, bro, you're in your cell's getting rushed and the door's getting kicked shut. So you are fucked. Do you understand? It's like, and
What year
because,
was that? What year was that? Sorry.
well, work it out, right? I was 21. It was about 27 years ago because I'm 49 now. Oh, no, hang on a minute. No, wait. Yeah, I was 21, but this particular screw remembered me, is all I'm going to say. And I would have been seriously scared or damaged only for two individuals. I come in to the prison and you're in SEG like for 24 hours before you go into GP, which is general population. So my first night, I come in after I got to Mountjoy at about 6:30 because you have to wait for the van to get back. It takes people from Mountjoy prison to the court and vice versa. And there's 2 trips a day. So I was on the last trip, so I goes back. And as I'm walking to the cell, I seen a lad that I know. And Ronan, it was perfect time. And he's like, bro, what you doing in here? And it's like, oh, bro, say nothing, I'll talk to you tomorrow, whatever. He said, listen, I'm a cleaner on this landing. He said, I'll bring you something to eat in a while. Round that morning, I'm not going to lie, while they were smashing my door in, I had to get a big load of fucking gel, grab 3 parcels. I had these made up with 20 bags of heroin in each one. So I managed to get 2 up my backside before they kicked my door in. Anyway, cut a long story short.
Did you take that into the prison with you?
Yeah, fucking right I did. You know what I mean? You bet your bollocks I did, bro. I had 2 batches. I'd made them up the night before, and you know what, Ronan? It was the day of my ex's 24th birthday. 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't forget things like that. Now, I was already out on bail, and I got hit again. My door was getting smashed off the hinges. I was trying to fuck it out the window, but there was coppers looking up at me. I was trying to dash. I had about 16 ounces of heroin, bro, and it wasn't mine. You know what I mean? Either was mine, but it's in my possession, so it doesn't matter who fucking owns it. You are found.
Possession's 9/10 of the law, isn't it? That's what they say. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So if you're fine with it, it's yours. Simple as that. But so you went in. You went into Mountjoy. Then you got this. You got it in. So you went in there as a full blown heroin addict. And were you afraid of going through withdrawals? Then that's why you had to take it in.
Well, Ronan, it's like when you woke up at 6 o'clock in the middle of the morning, and when you're an addict, it's like if you don't have that for one day, you cannot function, mate. And I'm being honest with you. So when I heard my dog get hit, I knew what it was, and I knew I only had a few seconds. So I'd already got them bagged up, and they were like a cut. It was like fucking putting 2 chestnuts up my arse. Fucking, and it was real quick round. I'm sorry for being fucking
No, it's fine. Listen, these are the details, you know.
And before they got in, I managed to plug a couple of parcels because I knew I was going to be sick. But Ronan, if people in jail find out that you've got fucking 20 bags of heroin, bro, they'll kill you. They'll put their finger up your arse and they'll take the shit, bro. That's what happens.
Honestly. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like, so you go in and you're in there. And are you using straight away once you're locked up in the cell? You're straight away using heroin.
Well, here's the thing, Ronan. The only thing you can do is like, you see, I found myself in a situation where I was fucked into a cell with a epoxy mattress like that for the night till the next day. And I seen a friend, young Martin Cal. Now, not the general's fucking dad or anything, but he was Martin Cal's nephew, him and Jer Cal. But one of them is married to one of the Kershaws, and I grew up with all them boys and what have you and all. And he was a cleaner on the landing, so he seen me going into SEG. When you go in, back then, what happened was, I went from court back to the jail, and he put me in a fucking cell, like I said, till the next day. But coincidence, man. Young Martin's walking past me and he goes, Jude, what are you doing in here, bro? You know what I mean? Fucking hell, bro. You're in Banda country here. He said, I'll give you a buzz in a minute. And he said to the screw, boss, can I get Miss T? Whatever. Anyway, cut a long story short, yeah. About 2 hours later, yeah, he come up to the cell. He says, Jude, did you bring anything in with you? And I said, yeah. He said, what? How many? I said, mind your fucking business, bro. Just a little bit, you know what I mean? He said, will you sort us out? He said, no, I'll make sure you're all right. You're looked after and all. So, whatever. I didn't tell him what I had. And Ronan, like I said, you're in a cell and that fucking door can open at any time. Do you understand? And at the time, this is disgusting, Ronan. Grown men were pissing in buckets and shitting in buckets because there was no fucking toilets. And you had to keep that in the cell over fucking night till the next morning. And everybody on that wing is emptying piss and shit, and the smell of it in the air. It's just, and the tension in the air. And at the time, Ronan, I was in there with some of the most fucking dangerous people ever. Do you understand? I was in there with generals, captains, fucking of our movement, volunteers, not just. They say they all go to part least. That's bullshit. They don't. One of me mates, like I said, that Dotty, like fuck's sake, man. He was from
Portlaoise has reinvented itself now, but the era that you were in prison, that was filled full of some of the most dangerous people in Ireland at the time, wasn't it?
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And Ronan, there's a lot of desperate people in jail. There's a lot of people that have lost hope. There's a lot of people that have given up. And I'm in the cell 3 hours next to all I hear, Jude. And I said, well, what's up, bro? He said, here, there's a couple of buns for you, bro. There's a jug of tea. There's a few marmalades there. So I'm fucking buzzing, like, you know what I mean? Because I come back. When I come back, it's like, I missed me meal or whatever. So he brought me an apple and orange, a few currant buns, and a few miniature marmalades and jam. I opened the fucking bun, bro. Do you know what's in it? About 20 matches, 6 fucking, and what was in it? There was about 20 matches, enough for 6 roll-ups, a few skins, and a tiny bit of brown off a fucking matchbox. You know what I mean? He's like, bro, what the fuck are you in here for? I said, I got slipping, man. He's like, what do you find? I said, a fucking Luger and about 8 ounces. He's like, did you bring out in with you? I said, yeah, I'll sort you out in a minute. It's like, but what I didn't realise was it took me about 2 hours to get around me back. So you know what I mean? So you have to wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, you're in prison, you're probably, you need something now to get you over. You need that fix, and it's actually inside you. So you need to get that out. And there's a fucking bucket there. Are you roomed up with somebody? Or are you by yourself?
No, at the time I was on my own because I think I went on to, or I forget what wing I was on, but it's crazy. You have your on the bottom, on the bottom, you have like whatever. Then you have the 2s, the 3s, and on the 4s, they're all lifers, bro. Do you understand? There's fucking like serious people, and I found myself in a line, wait for me breakfast. Loads of grown-ass men in their jocks, bringing out their buckets, slop in the morning, and the fucking smell of, bro, I swear to God, that's the 2 things I'll never forget about Mountjoy prison. The smell of piss and the noise. Just like a powder keg ready to blow up. And on every landing and on every wing, you have an SC, right? Now, like a shock collar. It's like, and there's rules and there's a democracy in jail. It's like a structure. No matter what jail you go, there's a structure and there's an SC on every fucking wing. You have runners, you have fucking, listen, it's crazy. Now, nowadays, it's a lot harder to get drugs into jail. But back then, they hadn't got these scanners, they hadn't got fucking, you know, it's like, gone be the days where you could bring up a fucking child with a little nappy on, and some people even put drugs in their own kids' fucking nappies and fucking baby carriers. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's like, yeah, drugs destroyed me, a lot of me friends, but when I was in there around, like I said, you're surrounded by some of the most dangerous people you could ever meet. Now, there is people that are segregated for obvious reasons. Now, I could have stayed in seg because I was in Mountjoy prison, and that's, bro, I'm from Ballyfermot. Mountjoy is like in Fisbury, just there. And it's like, because of who I was, And they knew I sold in the asylum. I was a target, right? And bro, imagine this. One of the fucking screws is with him. Do you understand? It's
Hmm.
like
Corruption.
fucking Mill. It's the same in every fucking jail. It's like, yeah,
But I
the
could only
copper.
imagine what it was like back then, though, Jude. The corruption would have been, it would have been, the screws weren't there to help you. The screws were basically one off the gang of another firm.
Ronan, I seen a fella, right? That a kid, a young lad, he was having a game of snooker. And this fella from Clondalkin, a notorious joyrider from, I'm going back between, like at the time, joyriding 89 to 92. Like them 3 years, I went like from the asylum to fucking all the nonsense. But I was, I had to be alert all the time in the prison because, Ronan, you can't stay in your cell all day. Do you understand? You have to leave it. You need to go to a fucking shower. You need to go get your breakfast. You need to fucking eat. Now, like I said, in the 5 months I had three incidents, and this particular screw it wrote nearly 30 reports in 5 months. So I donkey punched him. Do you know what he did, right? He fucking on me visit, me son. Now, as a father, Ronan, I'm sat on this side of the fucking table, my ex-missus is there, and my son is in her arms, and he just wanted to come to me because he was on my shoulders everywhere I fucking went. You know what I mean? And I was like, I hit this screw, bro, and I got battered by about 6 of them. And he brought me in front of the governor, and the governor says, "What happened to your face?" I said, "What happened to yours?" He said, "Jude, I'm not playing with you today." I said, "Well, I fucking not playing with you. I fell off me rack." He said, "Jude, your bed's like 2 foot off the ground." I said, "Yeah, but I have night terrors. I sleepwalk. You know, what you want me to say?" He said, "Were you attacked by any member of staff?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Listen, okay, you fell off your rack. Let me get this straight. Your eyebrow is split, you have a fucked up nose and lip, and you have about 13 stitches or something like that in the back of your head. And you're telling me that nothing happened." And I said, "Listen, I've already told you. I fell off me bum. Simple. Now, here's the thing. Ronan, even though them bastards battered me, it's like you can't tell on them. Do you understand?
Yeah, so why didn't you? So I was thinking, right, okay, so fair enough. You don't want to grass on anybody in the criminal underworld to get that, but why do you not want to grass on the screws and get them sort of reprimanded for what they done to you, or is it just a pure code that I'm not going to
Yeah.
grass on anybody?
The way I seen it is this particular screw did not like me, and he made it his business to let everybody on the wing that was from the city centre know that I was one of the scumbags from Ballia who worked in the asylum. Bro, everyone wanted to fucking kill me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
For 5 months, some fella tried to fucking dash a jug of hot water in me face round with half a bag of fucking sugar, and he missed. He fucking missed.
And if anybody wants to know about the whole asylum story, we're not going to get into that now. Go into the description and the comments section. I'll leave a playlist for the Jude's two other podcasts that I've done with him, and he explains the whole asylum story and what that's about. If you're wondering why he was a target, there was a target in Jude's back for being a member of the asylum crew. But do you know, whenever you came out of prison, and I just want to end on this here, this question, not end the podcast, but end the next segment. I want to talk more about Manchester. But
Yeah.
whenever you came out of prison, were you still a full blown addict?
No. When I come out of prison, believe it or not, you see, I was in there for 5 months, and every day before that morning, the 12th of September, when they raided my house, yeah, Rowan, I was so fucked up on it. But coming out of jail, like I said, I had 40 bags with me, and I basically, that saved me life, because a couple of people had a green light on me, and a lot of them didn't know I had 2 parcels up my arse. And Ronan, here, in prison, fuck money. Money's no, the only thing money's good for is buying drugs in there. But if you actually have it, do you understand? But I ran out. And when I ran out, bro, I had to go through hell. But this particular morning, I went to the court. The copper whose case it was in fucking Spain. Now, I don't know whether the judge had a row with his I think the judge had a row with his missus on that morning or the night before. He would not get no sexy time from his wife. So he was in a bad fucking mood. So I was about the 4th case. Cut a long story short, so the judge is looking at it, right, blah, 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 and he goes, who's the arresting officer in case /1A1654C / whatever? Your Honour, I'm here in his honour. And the judge says, where is he? And the copper went, he's in Gran Canaria. And the judge says, what? Hang on a minute. Whoa, hang on. You're telling me that you're presenting this case and you're not even the fucking lead detective on it? Hang on a minute. And he's looking at my man from the fucking DPP or whatever you cunts, whatever, prosecutor. And he went, so then it was my fucking turn. My lawyer got up and he said, look, Your Honour, me client was a heroin addict. It's like, and he sold it and he fucked up. But today, my client is sober and he's trying to move on with his life and he knows that he fucked up. But we're looking to ask the court today to grant bail. My client is not a flight risk and we will accept any terms or conditions from yourself, Your Honour. Anyway, my man goes, here, I'm going to give this man bail. The lead detective for this case should have been here today. Next case, done. He said £5,000 cash or a surety. You know what, bro? My ex-missus is ma. Pay the money now. I had 2 restrictions. I had to do it right. Every day I had to sign on at the police station twice, right? That was part of my bail agreement. It's like, Ronan, I was on a fucking boat that night. Manchester, bro, and they never come back.
So you went, that was your conditions, and what is like that's mad to think about that. So you go to Manchester, do they pursue? Do they ring the police in Manchester to say there's a fella in?
No, not at all, bro. Look, I was a fucking street dealer, a fucking no big thing, just a fucking your average street dealer. That's all. I wasn't no fucking. Yeah. Now the only thing was, they found heroin and they found a fucking Luger. That didn't belong to me. But Ronan, as you know, I couldn't say yeah. Oh yeah, me mate gave it to me the other day to fucking mine. Bro, all my life, it's like you don't tell. Listen, here's how it is. Why would I write a report against 6 screws when 6 screws are going to say you attacked them? Then you're going to be known. Then that screw is going to tell the whole landing that you went to the governor and informed on him. Mm-hmm. Listen, here, I got my own back on that cunt. I slap him. Bang, right in there. Hit him right in the back of the head. And here, his colleague was in front of him. Round, he went like that. He was asleep, stood up, because there was 3 screws. And his mistake was dragging my son out of my arms. And bang! Fucking grabbed him. Well, you know. But I got battered. But I wouldn't tell on the screws, bro, because, man, that's just like telling on, ringing the police. Why am I going to fucking make a complaint against them? I'll wait And I'll get me moment, and if it's not today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next fucking year. And you know what? The same cunt who was affiliated with a certain people would say that he's a businessman. But this particular individual, as you know, I won't say his name, Ronan, his nephew battered me when I was 15 up in Fisborough in a nightclub called G1. And 13 years later, I'm over. I used to come over for Christmas to Dublin because it's my best friend Maria's fucking anniversary on the 26th, Boxing Day. So we all used to come to Cabra, and I made a few friends in Cabra. Marno Hoyle and fucking Dottie. You know, it's like, and the reason I knew Dottie was because my best mate is his nephew, Neil Douglas, and the way he died, but we won't go into that. But yeah, fuck that. But Manchester bound, Ronan, where are we up to?
So yeah, so you all that craziness happens in Dublin. Now, when we're speaking about behind the scenes, you talked to me that you've seen lots of fights in Manchester between the traveling community. Do you want to explain to the people that maybe don't understand what the traveling community is like? Maybe there's people watching from America, Australia. What?
Yeah.
You know, we spoke about Dougie Joyce, and we spoke about young Joe Joyce, and you've got a great respect for all the traveling families. Do you want to take us through a couple of scenarios what that's like in Manchester, the fights and the fight scene, and how you actually got to witness those fights?
I am not a gypsy man. I'm what you call a countryman, which the travelling community call non-travellers. They have a couple of names for us, but countryman being the one, or simple, like they used to, like, you know. Anyway, so I moved to a place called Gorton years ago, and I lived up there in Abbey Hay for about 13 years. And at the time, Dougie was only a kid. And in fucking just where Bank Street is, I forget the name of the park, but in the park, you had like a football, a basketball, fucking, and there was a big fence all the way around it. So I used to take the dog out, man. And back then, like I said, I seen Dougie fighting when he was a kid. You know what I mean? And Johnny. Because they lived on Cherry Tree Avenue, and I lived on Gahorse Street. I lived on Brightman Street. So I knew what time it was and what goes on and fights and what have you. But back then, Ronan, social media wasn't as popular, or the YouTube community. For instance, when this first started, it started with Flash Gordon and Danny Christie. Like I said, Flash Gordon, that's his name. Yeah. So, like I said, growing up, I seen Dougie fighting. Growing up, I watched all the young Joe Joyce's fights. Young Joe Joyce's and his daddy's. You know, I was a big fan of his daddy's work. As far as I'm concerned, Joe Joyce's father, young Joe, is the king of the travellers. And him and James Quinn McDonnell, I'd put in that category. Now, there's different Joyce men, right? Now, I know both of them. And I'll tell you how I met the other one. I'm studying the terminal. I know Dougie, right? I don't know him, whatever. But what I do know is I watched him fight from the time he was about 13, go around fucking up. You know, bro, and when you see a fight, you fucking stop and watch it. You understand? A big fuck off circle of people. And yeah, so I've watched him kind of grow up, and you know what? He's a businessman, right? And he's very smart at it, you know, and I think having his 4 daughters has made him soft like myself, you know, because when you have your kids around, everything changes, you know, and it's like, yeah, so I lived up there for 13 years, but there's loads of gypsies around here now. On this housing estate for 7, And the head family around here, I'd say, is the Keenans. And I've nothing but respect for every one of them. There's not a gypsy man in this city that I don't know or doesn't know me or one of me brothers. And do you know what? They get a bad fucking reputation, travellers. And do you know what? A lot of travelling people are the best fucking people in the world. They'd help you. They give everybody. There's a stigma attached to travellers, saying they're blackguards, bullies, belligerent. You never call a where I'm from. Like, we're countrymen, and in Dublin it's so different, but in Manchester, Ronan, you have settled travellers that live in houses. Do you understand? That kids go to uni. Like Michael Collins, for instance, one of me I'd say he's my best friend out of all the travellers, because the abuse I give the curly-headed fuck, and I love him. I know Michael Collins, 25 years, and we both met in Manchester, what was it? In the town hall, because two kids were picked to go to acting classes or to drama classes. Michael's daughter Katrina and my lad were picked out of the whole school. Just two of them to go to acting classes, drama classes, whatever. So that's where me and Michael Collins met. So we live on the same housing estate, and over 25 years rolling, I know every gypsy fucking man in this city. And I'll just say this, travelling people are no different to anybody fucking else. It's just like other people put fucking, they don't give the fucking travelling community a fair show. And here, most of my friends are gypsy men. It's like my nephew boxes up in fucking Clayton Boxing Club, Davy Keenan's Boxing Club, and every traveller in Manchester that can box or is about it is in that gym. It used to be Hardwick lads years ago. There was a documentary made with Paddy Doherty, right, with Danny Dyer, Britain's Deadliest Men, yeah? And the same fucking boxing gym down the road that Paddy used to go to, that Air Mark used to go to, that Davy Keenan used to go to, and all his brothers. 25 years later, they run the boxing club now, but it's in Clayton. Same people, same fucking solution. You leave your ego at the door, and if you don't respect people in here, you'll be on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
I have to say though, just my opinion. I met Paddy Doherty when I was at the Young Joe Joyce protest, and it's hard to believe he was in such programs like Britain's or the UK's Deadliest People, because that man's a gentleman. Paddy Doherty's a gentleman. I could sit and talk to Paddy Doherty all day. There's not a shred of anxiety would I have around that man. He was the most. Same with I met Big Joe too, the same as himself. There was about 200 traveling men and women, and I was stuck in the middle of them, and not one of them made me feel uncomfortable. I actually felt like they were the nicest people to be around.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't look at gypsy men as gypsy men or gypsy women.
They're just men and women. They're just men and women.
Men. They're not fucking, you don't put that gypsy man, they're a fucking man. And it's like I said, Ronan, I'll tell you how I met young Joe Joyce now. This is just my opinion. You're only as good as your last fight. Now, I had it, right. A few years ago, let's say, I was dating a girl from Northern Ireland, right? And the fucking first time I ever travelled over there, I'm in a fucking airport. Oh, not an airport, sorry. I'm in Liverpool, where you get the ferry.
The ferry, yeah.
I'm fucking sitting there with my bag on my own. Now, before he approached me, I'd seen every one of his fucking fights. So he comes over to me, like, and he just taps me on the fucking shoulder. I know. I'm trying to think whether I was having a smoke outside the town, whether I was sitting down. I ended up fucking coming out because he asked me had I got a transit van. And I said, no. I said, he said, yeah, just a foot passenger. I said, yeah, because he didn't know what time you could get on the boat. So I'm like, you're fucking young Joe, ain't you? And bro, like I said, you wouldn't think you're talking to the same fella. A fucking gentleman. He said to me, I said, you know what? I've seen all your fights and your fucking dads. You know what I mean? It's like, he said, well, I just won a fight. I might have been in Oxford. Now, I could be wrong. I think it was one of the old, I think it was Simon O'Donnell he beat. Now, I could be wrong. But all I know was he fought on the Oxford gypsy side and he won. So, he said to me, here, I'll come and find you and we'll have a drink. Now, I don't fucking drink, right? So, I'm saying whatever, yeah. So I gets on the boat. I pick myself a nice little fucking seat that went that way. I put my bags down, plug my charger in. So I'm watching something on my phone. You know what I mean? And it's like the ferry takes off. So we're halfway in the middle of the fucking sea. So I nodded off. And I woke up, yeah, and I'm at the bar. And I said, yeah, can I have a cup of tea? And one of your toasted fucking ham and cheese toasties on batch bread. And so meet me fucking toasty, and I'm heading for a fucking door to go out on deck and have a smoke. And as I'm going, him and John Joe are walking to the same door to go have a fucking smoke. Anyway, he goes, there you are. He says, that's the countryman I was telling you about, the John Joe. Now, John Joe is married to Joe's sister. So, we're in the middle of the fucking ocean, bro, right? And I'm just looking over and I'm like, I'm getting vertigo already. And I'm like, vertigo? I need a vertigo away from this situation. So we're out there having a smoke and all, and he's like, so where are you from? So I said, Ballyfermot. And he said, yeah. He says, I know people that live up them ways. In Clondalkin and Tallet and what have you. And all. So I'm fucking, they were taking the piss because I had a cup of tea. You know what I mean? He's like, what's that in your fucking hand? And
them boys would be drinking whiskey, I would say, whiskey and Guinness.
Yeah, he said, yeah, what's that in your hand? Give a look at that a minute. So I handed him a cup of tea. He went, fuck off into the sea. He says, you're coming with us. Come on, grab your bag. So I'm like, I've seen this cunt fighting on video many times. And it's like, if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to be fucked over. No one's going to find me. I'm going to be dead. And sharks or fucking fish are going to eat me. You know, and even if they sound the horn, what are they meant to do? Throw 15 anchors in the fucking sea. So all these things were going through my head, like this fella, like I've seen it. Anyway, so we walked back to where he was sitting, and there was his wife, the kids, fucking a few kids, yeah, that were just fucking nuts, you know, running around the ship, exploring it, you know, but they know that they're not allowed out on deck. And every time every time I travelled to Belfast, there was a lot of gypsies coming from, you know, from Belfast back to England, and I made a lot.
You've got a couple of skins, Jude.
Is that all you want?
Yeah.
Right, bro, I'm just on a fucking live at the minute. There you are. There you go, bro. No, you're good, G. No problem, bro. Sorry about that, Ron.
No,
Just doing
100%. Don't worry about it at all. 100% fine. Do you know, I have to say, every time that I've been on the ferry a few times now, I've been in the ferry all in all probably about 12 times back and forth from Liverpool, and every single time I've went, there's been a travelling family on there.
Yeah.
They're always using that for some reason. But listen, I've got my own theories about that, but I'll not go into it. But it seems though you have to understand. See the way your perception is that Jesus, if I say the wrong thing, he's going to throw me overboard. But actually, the reality of it is, if you back down from a fight, the way they work is, if you say no, I don't want to fight, they don't even pursue it anymore. That's it, because it's all about fists. And it's the people need to understand it's a different style of bare knuckle boxing. It's no clinch, it's just hands. You're not allowed to clinch. It's basically boxing with no gloves, where you have the BKFC today where you're allowed to clinch. It makes the game completely different. So that it's a brutal way of fighting. But if you say to if I say to young Joe, I don't want to fight. He's not going to pursue that. He's not. They're not bullies. They say, "Do you want to
Correct.
fight?" No. Okay. Do you want? Or if I say yes, okay, let's fight, and then it's all arranged and set up. And then once you quit, that's it. There's very few people that get severely hurt in those fights. It's the aftermath of the fights when families can't drop the feud, and then there's shootings and stabbings and retaliations. But generally speaking, with the way they fight, if you refuse, that's it. They don't even think bad of you. Just go, okay, fair enough, and the walk away. I've
Yeah.
never got the feeling that they were bullies, and that's what I need to put the emphasis on here. That it's not bullying.
When Joe fucked me tea into the Irish like, I'm not fucking arguing with him, right? So he's like, come on with us. So, sorry, he went, come with us. H-U-S, that's a hus. And a fucking gentleman, he's like, what you want to drink? And I was like, I'll have a cup of tea. He's like, you're taking the piss. And I was like, go on then, I'll have a Budweiser, you know, and he got John Joe one, and one bottle of Budweiser turned into 16. It's like, and bro, I said, bro, let me buy you a fucking drink. And he's like, no, but Ronan, I insisted, you know what I mean? So I bought him around the drinks. It cost around €40. Ronan, I didn't have to put my hand in my pocket after that. And
Yeah, that's what they're like. That's what they're like. They're gentlemen. They are. I met them in William Joyce and the family over at the protest, and I just recorded the whole thing. And they took me in for breakfast after and says, order away. Now I felt I'm the type of guy, I can't take a gift. Maybe you're a bit like that. I hate taking gifts from people, but I quickly found out that you're dealing with people that I appreciate. If you show them respect, they appreciate that. And listen, I have to say this. The only form of racism that's still allowed in the UK and Europe and probably the West is racism against traveling men and women. You can be as racist and as bigotry towards those people as you want, and the only people you'll get retaliation from is them. But the courts, the police, the people in general don't give a fuck. Now I have to ask you a question, Jude, and I want your opinion on this here. Right? Do you know much about the young Joe Joyce case? He's in Magabry at the minute. He's locked up. He's up on a murder charge, but if you look at the case, it technically wasn't murder; it was self-defense. There's an appeal going on. Do you know much about that? And if you do, what's your opinion on that whole thing?
Okay, I'll tell you my opinion on it. It's like I'm in my home, which is my castle, and my family are here. And if you come to my fucking door where my children are with bats, iron bars, bottles, everything, and they come to the man's door, and as far as I'm concerned, listen, you have to understand something. Gypsy culture is so different to our culture, Roland. And gypsies get a bad fucking reputation, but you know what? There's no difference between gypsies and us. We're all fucking men or we're women. You know, I don't like that slur because on this housing estate, the Keenans run the boxing club in Clayton, and every fucking good kid that's in that gym whose parents are travellers are there to fight. It's about honour and integrity and respect. And that's the code. It's like, and I don't look at people as travellers. They're just people to me because for over a quarter of a century, I've actually lived on a housing estate full of families, the best gypsy men in the fucking world. And a lot of them are gentlemen. Ronan, it's the same in every community. You know, look at the things countrymen do. Look at all the violence in fucking Dublin and all. You know what I mean? And I'll always take up for gypsy people because I've met a lot of gypsy families and I live alongside them. But my opinion on that is I have children in my house. I look out the window and it wouldn't be the first time, and there was only at one time. I looked out my window and there was 4 men outside my door. Now, one of them has sent me brother a fucking message, a voice note, because he was on coke and what have you. And my brother was steaming that day. And he went around and said, bro, I'm giving you a half an hour. And if you are not back, I'm going around and I'm going to deal with your shit. Now, this guy, I won't say his name, a legend on this housing estate, apparently. A legendary bully. So I went into the pub. When I get there, Air Max fucking on the table like that, laid out. Now, I thought he had to been hit. He was fucking steaming. He'd about 20 points, the greedy bastard. So I went in, my man sitting with about 15 of his mates, and I walked over to him and I was like, dickhead, get up. He said, what? I said, you fucking heard what I said, get up. Threatening my brother, are you here? I'm here. Look at, I'm here, let's talk, get up. Just fucking get up. One of his mates stood up. I said, Curtis, if you don't sit down, bro, I'm going to break your fucking jaw. So it's like I said, there was about 15 of them at the table round, and I didn't give a fuck. That's my little brother. And I already lost a little brother and a sister in a fire when I was a kid, and I wasn't going to lose another one. And this fella made a big fucking mistake. Anyway, he's meant to be a legend. He's a fucking embarrassment. I went there for war. On my own. No one with me. He's there with all his mates, and he wouldn't even stand up. I was like, you've got a vagina, get up. He wouldn't get up. So, bro, see the two tables? And I paid for the drinks. I upended the two tables, bro. Glass went everywhere, drinks went everywhere, and everybody just backed the fuck up. He didn't want it. I said, see you, get up. You know what I mean? Ring your son right now. Go on, ring both of them. Get them here. Come on, get up. So I went mad round, and you know what I mean? It's like, so Patrick Keenan come over and he tried to grab me to calm me down, and I just fucking, yeah. I said, Patrick, if you don't move, bro, I'm going to have to fucking clip you. You know what I mean? He's like, bro, I'm not your enemy. Your ma used to drink in this pub, bro. She wouldn't like to see you doing this. I said, that bastard has threatened my brother. Do you understand? And he's bullying people on this housing estate for the last 20 fucking years, threatening everyone with his sons. So I went around and I said, now I've insulted you. Do something, I'm here. I'm here, get up. He wouldn't get up. You know what I mean? So I fucked a couple of things at him to try aggravate him to get him up, but he's got a vagina, right? I comes back. Mary Fox said, Jude, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're wrecking me pub, bro, and this is me business. Think about what your mum is saying. So once she said that, it's like something so I said, Mary, I'm really sorry. She said, Jude, the police has already been rang. Go. You know what I mean? Go. Because, bro, it's our business. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And she works very fucking hard, Mary Fox. Shout out to Mary Fox. But like I said, I went around there and I handled it like a man. I asked him to get up. He was with all his mates. One of them stood up. Shout out to Curtis for being a fucking being a mate of his. But Roland, I'm just going to just tell you this. I found myself with 4 people at my gate, bro. And it was him, his 2 sons, and another fella, bro. I went out on my own, right? Yeah, I'll show you now, right? See that garden? It was closed at the time. It's like, and there was 2 cars on the drive. Them 2 gates closed. I walked out. There was 4 of them there, yeah? His 2 sons in front of him. Another friend. He's giving her all of that. Ronan, I tagged him straight away, right through the middle. Bang! You know what I mean? And as I was taking a step back, his son hit me with a chair in the head, right? And I respect the kid for doing it, because at the end of the day, Ronan, if you imagine you're in a situation where your sons have to be called to say, here, somebody's fucking giving you that loads of shit and he's going to knock him out or whatever, yeah? Now, as any son would, Ronan, you turn up. So they turned up outside my door. Yeah, they presented themselves in my firing line. So I went out and bang, I just tagged him. Boom. He just dropped. The son hit me with a chair. And it was pissing rain as well. And it's like, he said to me, Jude, I didn't even know it was your house, bro. That's me fucking dad. What do you want me to do? And you have to understand something. It's a father. So I respect him for hitting me with the chair. But it could have gone a lot worse if we had having something, whatever. I'm not going into it, but yeah.
But
That's what God.
the moral of the story is basically that if somebody comes to your house, you've got every right to defend yourself in relevance to the young Joe Joyce situation.
Now, how can this be murder? Right? You're in your home, minding your own business. Somebody comes and presents themselves outside your fucking door with weapons, bro. The first thing I see, whether it's a sword, a cup, a kettle, the fucking tablet, the remote is getting thrown at you. You know, and like I said, bro, it's on fucking video. They come to his house and he defended himself, bro, and God bless the person that lost his life and God bless his family, and I may have a bed in heaven. But guys, listen, in my world, you come to a man's door with bad intentions, that's your castle, your private space. You have a right to defend yourself, and that's what young Joe did. But sadly, a man lost his life. Two families lost lives, really.
There's a couple of things you have to know. So, for instance, I was speaking to William recently, right? And I have to say this. I'll say this to you first here, Jude. I didn't want to really speak about this, but so William, give me a bit more information. But before I say that, what people need to realize is that he didn't hit him in the head with a weapon. He didn't hit him in the torso, the arms. He hit him in the leg, and unfortunately, the fella died.
Yeah.
Right. But it was manslaughter. He didn't mean to kill him. It was manslaughter. Right. Now, the strange thing about it is, one of the guys that came to young Joe's house, he got done for attempted murder on Joe. So Joe's in for murder, and one of the people that was with the young fella that died has got attempted murder. Now, I do believe that young fella was put into a prison, right? Surrounded by Joyces, right? And what the system wanted was they wanted the Joyces to attack that young fella, right? So then it would give the Joyces a bad rep. So if there was any appeals from young Joe, then whenever there was no retaliation from the Joyces on the young fella that was in prison, they put him in the same wing as young Joe Joyce. And you're hearing that from me first, right? No, that hasn't been told by anybody before. William told me that. There's a few other things I want to clarify before I speak about other things. But they're trying to set young Joe Joyce up at the minute. They're trying to set him up. The whole system is. Yep, that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. And and only for young Joe having the head about him and not, fighting with this guy, and sticking to his appeal. And what people need to realize about the appeal, they need 3 judges to vote that yes, that this is manslaughter. If there's 2 judges that votes that it's manslaughter, he still gets done for murder. So this isn't about even a majority vote. They need 3 judges, the 3 judges to vote this is manslaughter. Now, if it's manslaughter, he gets out in time served. But right now, the system, the prison system, the court system is actively trying to set young Joe Joyce up to get him. He is then, gets done. He stays in prison for murder. They know that wasn't murder. They know that was manslaughter.
Wrong. Listen, forget that young Joe's a traveller. It doesn't matter. He's a man at the end of the day, but I think it's been very biased. It's like, and how can you say that guy is a murderer when he was at home playing fucking family like we all do, and people come to his fucking door and the first thing because it's fight or flight with young Joe and he's not running. And I want to make something clear, yeah? You're only as good as your last fight. And young Joe Joyce, a.k.a. the young fucking Hulk, just like his daddy, I think, is the best Joyce man out of them all. And here, that's no disrespect to Dougie. Dougie's a very good businessman. And since he's had his girls, I've noticed a change in him, you see. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions about Dougie, right? But you have to give him this. Now, I know a lot of people say he's a bully and all, and that's not for me to say. That's what others have said. But he's a very good, shrewd businessman. And I'll tell you what, if he was to fight Flash Gordon, a.k.a. Mr. Gordon, fucking Eddie, whatever his name is nowadays, the man that shags women that have dicks, yeah, just like fighting holes. Anyway, right. So, that cannot be murder. You're in your house with your family. Someone comes to fucking hurt you what you meant to do. And then, it's like that. They put the same geezer on the fucking same wing. Like, that's not good.
Twice, Jude, and just to clarify for people, right? So they've recognised that the people that came to young Joe's house was attempting to murder him. Hence, why there's people in prison for attempted murder on Joe that night. Then
Correct.
then they sentenced Joe to murder on one of the fellas when it's really manslaughter. Then the fella that got sentenced for attempted murder gets put into a prison full of Joyces in the hope that them Joyces retaliate, right? And then when that doesn't happen, they move that fella into the same wing as Joe Joyce, young Joe Joyce, in the hopes that Joe attacks him, and then it makes their case that this is actually murder and these are animals and he deserves to get murdered. When it's not, they understand that this is a massive injustice. I understand a man has died, and rest in peace, and that person needs to be 100% always remembered. But under the law of the land, that wasn't murder; that was manslaughter.
Well, that's the way I say it, and I know the laws, bro. It's like fucking whether it's in this.
Mad. It's mad.
And what the way now here, like I said, that trial is biased. And then listen, that's going against like the fucking Geneva Convention in a way, or the laws of the land here. And it's like, how can you say a man is a murderer, bro? When people come to his house with bad intentions, they say in this country, right, every man has a right to defend his castle. And bro, if my kids are here and you come to my house and there's 10 years outside, bro, I am not ringing the police. Neighbours will ring the police. You know, it's like, but my opinion on the whole gypsy box and whatever, you're only as good as your last fight. And gypsies are some of the proudest and the fairest gypsy men in the country live around here. The best gypsy men around this fucking area, Manchester. Like I said, they do something. They've opened up a boxing club that's been there ages already. It's like they've invested in it. It's like all the kids go to the boxing club because when they're out on the streets and all, they're looking at their mates with their man bags. Hang on, he's got a new iPhone. Fuck, check him in his car. And they all want a bit of that rolling. And let me stress something. Education is the way forward. Awareness. Every situation you find yourself in life, you have to be aware. You know, when you make mistakes or you're fucking you know what I mean? It's like, but men are men, and like I said, whether you're a countryman or a gypsy man, gypsy men are very proud men, and it's different to our culture around them, but the gypsy community, they don't get a fair fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, and like I said, because there's so many gypsy families around here, and it's like, I've known them longer than I've known all my friends in fucking Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and just to end it in this note, for people to really understand, no people look at Tyson Fury and they think, you know, that yeah, they love him or hate him, but if you look how that he has never really been embraced by his own country. And the 3 fights that he's had with Deontay Wilder were some of the greatest fights in our generation. And, you know, and he was never, they always hail like an Anthony Joshua, who I don't really rate, by the way. Okay, there's funny games with Tyson Fury. He plays the game a little bit. People saying he's ducking this, but because he's a gypsy, because he's a traveling man and he's a settled traveler, that he never got the recognition from his own country because of that. And in my opinion, that's because he's a traveling man. He's a gypsy. And I think that the only form of racism left in this country is against the traveling community. And it's accepted. It's openly accepted.
I'd say it's more. I think they're very biased when it comes to gypsies, and I don't think it's fair because it's like they're like treated like second class citizens. You know what I mean? And it's not fucking right. But all the thing now that's going on YouTube, fucking with that Flash Gordon is gonna fight Dougie. Now Dougie is waiting on a bit of news, and then I think he'll be able to organise a day for the fight. But what I've noticed in Dougie is he's, I don't know, it's like, I don't know whether it's because of his girls. Having 4 girls, it's like when I had my kids, it told me soft. Do you understand, Ronan? Like, when you have children, you can't, because what I didn't realise was, Ronan, as a kid, I grew up with a label called ACEs, okay? Adverse childhood experiences. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, psychosis, and I'm certified. Like I said, it's fucking not easy. And every day, 1 second, Ronan, a lot of people use the mental health card. Now, I want to get one thing clear, yeah. Every day of my life, Ronan, every fucking day, bro. Watch and I show you. Where's the other one's gone? Fuck's sake, that's the antipsychotic. So there's another one in the box there, Ronan, right? So that's me every day. Oh, I think there's about 11 there. See the pink one? It's the antipsychotic, bro. Do you know what? Shout out to everyone that has mental health issues. And a lot of men, I know you're proud, a lot of countrymen were proud men, were belligerent, were stubborn. And if you talk about mental health, it shows that you're weak. And people look at you that you're weak. Well, I'll tell you fucking one thing, Ronan. I've had reputations put on me. Not my words, other people's. I'm a man, I'm a fucking gentleman, and if I have an issue with a man, bro, I'll get in touch with him on fucking Instagram or his number. And day 38, antipsychotic. Day 38, here, look where it's going, bro. I'll show you where it's going. It's going down the drain. I'll tell you what, the grass needs a haircut, round, and I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it.
You're fucking antipsychotic.
He's went off on us. He'll come back. Let me see. Right, guys, that is the end of the podcast with Jude. I couldn't get him back on after that. But he'll probably come on for a part 5. Now, if you want to go follow Jude on YouTube or social media, all the links for his YouTube and social medias can be found in the comment section and description, along with the Jude playlist. I've done 2 other podcasts with Jude. Make sure you head over and watch them. I've done that last year with him. There's 2, but this is the 3rd podcast that I'm doing, and I'll be adding future podcasts with Jude to that playlist, including this one. And if you can, just share, copy, link the clipboard, make a little social media post, send to your friend on Facebook or WhatsApp Messenger. Sharing is caring, spreading the word is good. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and so you never miss any of my videos. I talk about a whole range of subjects on this channel, and it's very important to share. Sharing is caring. And if you want to follow me on social media, all the links for all my social medias can be found in the description and the comment section. Also, I do have a Rumble channel. The only one that I really urge people to go over and follow me on is Rumble. It is a free speech platform, and I would appreciate that if you went over now and followed me. The link for that can be found in the comment section and description. Also, I'll be doing lives on Rumble just for Rumble. I'm demonetized here. YouTube have demonetized me several times now. And I've just give up on YouTube. But you can become a member to my Rumble. You can get involved. It's just like YouTube. It's all 100% free to follow me and subscribe. But obviously, you have to pay for the membership. So if you do want to become a member, you can become a member. You get all the little perks like gifts, stickers, and you will get priorities in the live chat. That is the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that one. I enjoyed doing that with Jude. And peace.